Mark Civarella, a judge in Pennsylvania, has been sentenced to 30 years in jail for making unfair, unjust, and unconstitutional rulings against mostly minors. Why? Because he was taking bribes from a private prison to give people more time and a bunch of other rights violations. Private prisons are very, very uniquely capitalist and very capitalist themselves. It's estimated that he took about $1 million to hand down harsher punishments to people just so that this private company could make more money. In other words, he deserves to be in jail for 30 years, and in fact, he probably deserves much more. In fact, some of the people he sentenced to at least some form of detention were as young as 10 years old. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court has overturned 4,000 convictions that he made between 2003 and 2008. Now, some of those convictions were based on the person on trial not receiving their full constitutional rights, some of that being the ability to intelligently enter a guilty plea and to have representation. Some of the most basic fundamental rights of the criminal justice system were ignored so that this guy in a private company can make money. Civarella was convicted of 12 counts including racketeering, money laundering, mail fraud, and tax evasion. He was also ordered to pay $1.2 million in restitution. The degree of the violation of human rights here is basically astronomical. I mean, some of these kids can very well have lost their entire lives because of this overzealous judge who just wanted to get paid. I mean, basically, someone gets a spotted record for however long it would affect them because this guy's trying to make some extra money. Now think about this. How much worse would it have been if this guy had not been eventually caught? This is largely due to private prisons. Now here's some 6 interesting facts about private prisons that were recently published. 65% of the private prison contracts received and analyzed included occupancy guarantees in the form of quotas or required payments for empty prison cells, a low crime tax. These quotas and low crime taxes put the taxpayers on the hook for guaranteeing profits for private prison corporations. Occupancy guarantee clauses in private prison contracts range between 80 and 100%, with 90% as the most frequent occupancy guarantee requirements. Arizona, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Virginia are locked-in contracts the highest occupancy guarantee requirements, with all quotas requiring between 95% and 100% occupancy. Though crime has dropped by 1/3 in the past decade, an occupancy requirement covering 3 for-profit prisons have forced taxpayers in Colorado to pay an additional $2 million. 3 Arizona for-profit prison contracts have a staggering 100% quota, even though a 2012 analysis of the Tucson Citizens show the company's per-day charge for each prisoner has increased an average of 13.9% over the life of the contracts. A 20-year deal to privately operate Lake Erie Correctional Institution in Ohio includes a 90% quota and has contributed to cutting corners on safety, including overcrowding, areas without secure doors, and an increase in crime both inside the prison and in the surrounding community. What's happened here? The profit motive has made it so that more people must be forced to go to jail. It has incentivized a judge to give people harsher sentences and probably convict them when they probably shouldn't have been convicted. And no doubt, probably, I have no proof, but I'm willing to guess, probably this all came about as a result of bribes that were given to politicians in some form or another. Once again, we see the class character of the bourgeois state and how starkly it stands in contradictions to the will, safety, and well-being, and frankly, freedom of the masses of people in America. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, rate, comment, subscribe, share on various social media, and if you want, there's some other great content here you could check out.